My name is Jeff Wiley, and I'd like to welcome you to tonight's Morrissey-Compton Educational Center Scholarship Dinner. Tonight is clearly a very, very special night. We have the opportunity to celebrate the accomplishments of two amazing women who have unlocked the potential of so many of us here tonight. I know we all have personal connections to Pat and Carolyn. Before I begin tonight, I would like to make a round of thank yous. There's some specific people that made tonight possible. First in the organization, I'd like to thank Lynn, the director of our fund development, and the entire staff and set of volunteers at Morrissey-Compton who organized everything from start to finish tonight. So first, I'd like to give them a round of applause. I'd also like to thank Children's Health Council, Cam Neary and her husband, Forrest Hill, to help underwrite tonight's event, and as well as with the support of an anonymous donor who is contributing $50,000 tonight to help match each and every one of your contributions, with our goal of raising over $100,000 tonight for scholarships for Morrissey-Compton and the students that will benefit so much from them. So we'd like to thank them tonight here as well. On a separate note, I'd like to recognize one of the board members who's no longer with us here tonight, but is clearly with us here in spirit, and that's Rudy Trenton. Rudy was a joy to work with. He brought so much passion to his experience in education as an educator, administrator, and most vocally as a resident of the coastal communities, for example, in Half Moon Bay area. In fact, a big proponent of one of the reasons we have a satellite office in the Half Moon Bay area. And I just wanted to think of Rudy, in this moment. He's certainly in our thoughts, and we're honored to have him served with him for so long on the board as well. So he's in our thoughts. So I mentioned tonight is a special night, a very special tonight. I know we would all not be here tonight if it were not for Pat Morrissey and Carolyn Compton and their vision, and more importantly, their dedication to those with learning challenges, attention disorders, and emotional difficulties. 33 years ago, Pat and Carolyn had a simple idea that would forever change the lives of so many. That simple idea, Pat, Carolyn, do you remember what that simple idea was? I remember it. I think you've said it a few times at board meetings. They said, "We think we could do this better." It's that simple. We think we could do this better. Let's try something. This or that something became Morrissey-Compton Educational Center, providing tutoring, summer school, and diagnostic services for students with learning differences. So we're here this evening to honor the lifelong dedication and achievement of Pat and Carolyn. So I thought to myself, how could I, one person, possibly do justice to the thousands, actually tens of thousands, I believe, of students and families whose lives they and their organization have changed forever. Okay? So with that elephant on my back, I felt the only thing I could do personally is give you a glimpse into the 30 years that I've had and the changes that it's made in my life. And so I'm going to share with you some of those tonight. So, 30 years ago, I was diagnosed with dyslexia by Carolyn Compton at Children's Health Council. when I thought back about those 30 years or what's changed, I sort of separated it into 10-year increments. So here we go, 8 to 18, then we'll go 18 to 28, and then you'll see exactly how old I am right now. So 8 to 18, right? The formative years. So as I mentioned, at age 8, I was diagnosed by Carolyn with dyslexia. And I started tutoring with Pat for over 5 years, 2 days a week at 7:30 in the morning. There were two saints, my mother, who would wake me up in the morning and drive me to tutoring at that age, and Pat, who, despite my attitude probably at that time, quickly found out a way to motivate me to learn and succeed. I think what I learned most about at that point was nothing comes easy, and it never will, but true dedication over 5 years, 7:30 in the morning, and with helping become an advocate for yourself, you can succeed and you can find success. And so at an early age, setting that tone really helped me strive throughout my life. So that was starting at right around age 8 to, I don't know, age 12, 13 or something like that. During that same time, I had the opportunity to attend Challenge School. So Challenge School is, for those, a lot of you are familiar, one of the most special things about Challenge School is, as a person with learning differences in a structured academic environment around a lot of your peers, at best, you know you're different. At best, you have, in certain situations, accommodations that, in the back of your mind, you know, I'm still different, I still need some extra help in order to succeed at my potential in that moment. At Challenge School, when you're around similar students, you have the opportunity to succeed amongst your peers. And more importantly, everyone at Challenge School has the opportunity to succeed. This is not something that kids with learning differences have the opportunity to do very much, if at all. And in fact, those summers give kids with learning differences the foundations that they need through that academic year to know that they can succeed. What those kids don't know is that we actually tape little things and hats that we pull out to make sure every kid has an opportunity for their name to be pulled. Every kid has an opportunity to succeed in either chance, luck, or the academics that we set them up for. And this is important. This is what teaching someone what it's like to find their own personal potential and to create structures, environment, so that people can go into the world and strive ahead. So that's what being a student at Challenge School is all about, is figuring out how you can succeed as an individual. So I thought it was over, so I stopped going to Challenge School, started entering high school at this point. I don't know how I found myself at Menlo School, but I think Bridget Kubiak had something to do with it. So thank you, Bridget. It's nice to see you. Yes. For some reason, I was accepted into Menlo School. And I had the opportunity, after a year separated from Menlo, they had this thing called a teacher's aid program that Pat and Carolyn were just thinking up at Challenge School. And they said, why don't you come back? You can, we'll pay you a summer wage, and you can start working as a teacher's aide with students. And I said, what does the job sound like? And they said, make sure kids are paying attention and get to play with them at recess. I said, that sounds like a great job. Okay. What I learned is it was a lot more than that. So going back to Challenge School as a teacher's aide, you really learn and you see children in a different light. You see kids who are succeeding, you see kids who are struggling. and you see yourself in a lot of those environments. And I don't know, for the many educators in this room who've had this experience, I had this experience in minutia as a teacher's aide for 2 or 3 years. It's much different to not only learn something, but to start being able to teach kids how to succeed and teach them in the environment that you've been in. So some people call it mentorship. I call it just sharing the experiences that you've been through and watching them succeed. And truly every day at being a teacher's aide at Challenge School felt like it wasn't work, it was fun. It was an opportunity to watch kids succeed, to have them look up to you, to show them that despite the differences that they're facing every day in the academic world, that they can succeed as an individual, and truly they will have the opportunity to succeed academically as well. So after a few years as being a teacher aide and eventually graduating Menlo School, got accepted to, again, didn't know it was possible. I didn't check the box for this application, but I got accepted to UC Berkeley for college. I applied to UC Davis, I applied to UC San Diego, I applied to UC Irvine. My mom was actually getting her PhD at UC Berkeley, and she said, oh well, might as well check the box. And at that time, they had preferential admissions through affirmative action, actually. And learning differences, learning disabilities were a part of that affirmative action plan. It's truly changed my perspective on sort of what it means to give someone an opportunity who on paper or maybe academically wasn't given a chance. And through being accepted at UC Berkeley, for whatever reason I enjoyed biology, I thought it would be a good idea to major in molecular biology. That was a true challenge. And upon returning my first year at Berkeley, I believe I reported back to Carolyn, who said, I was amazed that there were actually people who were recently diagnosed with learning differences. I didn't know this was possible, that everyone wasn't diagnosed at age 8. Everyone didn't have those learning skills, those coping mechanisms, those ability to advocate for themselves that they've learned through Morrissey-Compton, through Challenge School, through environments like Menlo School. I will say the one thing that, sorry Pat, Carolyn, that Challenge and Morrissey-Compton never prepared me for was molecular chemistry or organic chemistry. Clearly struggled in that. So my years of becoming a doctor were not foreseen in that. But truly, my experiences gave me the tools, the hard work, the skill sets to be able to succeed in graduating with a degree in molecular biology at UC Berkeley. With that passion, I started working in the Bay Area for a few years in the healthcare industry, decided to go back to business school, again, worked through the academic system, through the GMAT, working with Morrissey-Compton to get recertified for learning differences or dyslexia. And what I remember about that is I went back to Pat and Carolyn and I said, I thought you told me this would never leave. Why do I have to get recertified in order to get accommodations? And they said, well, they still don't understand that you have to deal with it all the time. So, you know what was interesting about that was taking the GMAT. One of my biggest challenges early on was written verbal elements of dyslexia. And I think a true testament to how much academic, but really, I would say, strength and passion and ability to overcome Morrissey-Compton and Challenge School gave me was that when I took my graduate school exams, it turned out I was in the 90th percentile in written verbal and like 50th percentile in math and reasoning. So it truly does sort of show what can sort of change in terms of the skill sets that you're given, and that truly did amaze me. So again, I thought I was done with Morrissey-Compton. I went to graduate school, came back to the Bay Area, started working for Johnson & Johnson, and got a call one day from Pat and Carolyn and said, "How would you like another job?" And I said, "I'm too old to be a teacher's aide. Come on." And they said, "We'd love for you to give the opportunity to join the board of directors at Morrissey-Compton." I think that is the type of organization that Pat and Carolyn founded, that not only wants input from people who've been through the organization, but is willing to give opportunities to people who may not be qualified, may not have the experience, but have the passion and the insight and maybe the raw skill sets in order to succeed. In some ways, Pat and Carolyn are sort of my affirmative action, I would say, into the real world and into serving as a board at Morrissey-Compton. Serving on the board for the last 5 years, what I've been able to learn is that there is a lot of method to the madness. What Pat and Carolyn, the mission that they've laid down, what John Brentar as the executive director for the last 10 years has filled out, has broadened the mission. All of those circumstances, all of those touch points that I've had the opportunity to grow up through have all been purposeful and methodical. And they all come back to that insight that they first had, which was 33 years ago, which is, I think we can do this better. And Pat and Carolyn, what I'm here to say tonight is, it's not I think I can do this better. I know you did this. I know you can do this better. I know you did this better. And I know your organization and those that have taken the torch of Morrissey-Compton and have now grown that mission are doing better every single day. And so with that, I wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you've done. And I know every single person sitting here thanks you from the bottom of their heart, because we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that simple idea that you had 33 years ago today. So thank you.